All right, we got our turret. Now we've got a Bleak Watcher and an Arc Soul and a solar turret. 4 turrets at the same time. You don't even need to play the game. Welcome to Destiny 2 The Final Shape. In today's video, we're going to be talking about the most overpowered Prismatic Warlock build. It grants you the ability to summon 4 turrets to fight for you, and you don't even have to jump through a lot of hoops to get this build up and running. Before Prismatic was around, we were able to summon a turret from the exotic No Time to Explain, and you could pair that with a Void Child of the Old God or an Arc Soul, but you could only really get 2 of those at the same time. But now with Prismatic, you can get all 4. It basically turns you into the Avatar, mastering all of the elements. So now when the Witness attacks and the Traveler needed us most, the Avatar disappeared. But with this build, we are coming out of hiding. And like I said, we're going to master all of the elements. For our super, we're going to be taking Song of Flame for no reason other than the fact that it's new and it's really cool. This grants us a supercharged melee attack that launches additional projectiles. Our grenade button is going to create a sentient flame wisp that seeks out targets and detonates in a scorching explosion that seeks out other nearby targets. And while the Song of Flame is active, you and nearby allies regenerate abilities more quickly, are more resistant to incoming damage, and your solar and kinetic weapons scorch targets. We're going to be taking the Healing Rift, Burst Glide. For our melee, I'm taking the Arcane Needle. Sling a woven needle that will embed in your target, unraveling them, activate your melee ability, again to chain up to 2 additional attacks. I really like the Arcane Needle because you can get 3 melee charges essentially. And then we are taking the Storm Grenade, a grenade that calls down a focused lightning storm. We're not actually going to be throwing our grenade, we are going to be consuming it, because consuming our grenade with this build is going to give us the Arc Soul that we need. Then moving on from there, we have the Bleak Watcher aspect. Press and hold to convert your grenade into a stasis turret that fires, slowing projectiles at nearby targets. Bleak Watcher has been around for a while, we all know it, we all love it. It works really great at ad clear and locking down positions. Then for our second aspect, we're taking the Hellion Solar aspect. States that activate your class ability to summon a solar mortar that lobs flaming projectiles at distant targets. Targets damaged by the mortar are scorched. The very good aspect. The solar mortar has a lot of distance on it, and the tracking is pretty strong. For our first fragment, we are taking Facet of Protection. While surrounded by combatants, you are more resistant to incoming damage. While Transcendent, the effect is increased, and it gives us a +10 to strength. Then we have Facet of Purpose. Picking up an orb grants either Amplified, Restoration, Frost Armor, Woven Mail, or Overshield based on the damage type of your equipped super. And since we have a solar super equipped, every time we pick up an orb, we're going to grant Restoration. Restoration states that you regenerate health and shields over time, cannot be interrupted by taking damage. This is really going to help us with our survivability. Then we have Facet of Hope. While you have an elemental buff, your class ability regenerates more quickly. With this build, we're going to have Restoration and Radiant a lot. Therefore, we're going to have our class ability up most of the time, so we can summon that Hellion Solar Mortar. Moving on from there, we also have Facet of Courage. Your Arc, Solar, and Void abilities deal increased damage to targets afflicted by the darkness. And since we're using the Arcane Needle melee, that counts as a darkness debuff because it unravels targets. And then we also have the Stasis Turret that is going to freeze targets. So we got 2 darkness debuffs right there. And this fragment also gives you a +10 to discipline. Next up, we have the Facet of Ruin. Increases the size and damage of the burst when you shatter a stasis crystal or frozen target, and increase the area effect of solar ignitions. Once again, we have that stasis turret that's freezing enemies, so we're going to get more damage when we shatter those enemies, and when we scorch enemies with our solar mortar, those ignitions are going to be a lot bigger. And last but not least, we have the Facet of Dawn. Powered melee hits against targets makes you radiant. Powered melee final blows makes you and your nearby allies radiant. It does take away 10 to your strength, but seeing as how we're going with the Arcane Needle, we're going to have 3 charges, and we're also going to be running some mods that'll help get our melee back. Then up next, we are taking the No Time to Explain. Exotic perk states that precision shots and shots against combatants slowed or frozen by stasis will return to the magazine. Then the exotic trait states that at 10 stacks of rewind again, a small portal will open Shooting bullets from an alternate timeline version of this weapon, precision hits extend the portal's duration. So this right here gives us another turret. And the last piece to this puzzle is the Getaway Artist. Comes with the exotic perk Dynamic Duo. Convert your arc grenade into an arc soul and become amplified. The arc soul functions as an autonomous turret. So we get the turret from consuming our arc grenade. That is why we're running the storm grenade. And since we're running the Bleak Watcher aspect, you hold to convert your grenade into a stasis turret. This actually pairs with the Getaway Artist. If you look right here, I'm going to hold my grenade down and I'm going to get the Bleak Watcher turret and my Arc Soul at the same time. Then you cast your Rift to get the solar turret, and then you just need to get precision hits to get this to proc on the no time to explain. Now going over the mod setup, we've got a kinetic siphon to create orbs, a solar siphon to create orbs with our solar weapons, got a heavy ammo finder for more ammo for our heavy weapon. Down here we have grenade kickstart. When our grenade energy is fully expended, your armor charge is consumed and you gain grenade energy for each armor charge used. This is to help us get back our arc soul and our stasis turret faster. Then we have impact induction. Causing damage with a powered melee attack reduces your grenade cooldown. And since we have 3 melee charges, we're going to be able to proc this a lot. Got a solar reserves because I'm using solar weapons, but you could switch this out with a damage resist mod. I got a couple charged up mods on the chest piece, increases the maximum number of stacks of armor charge you can carry by 1. I'm using these so I get a bigger return on my grenade energy from the grenade kickstart mod. Then I'm using 2 absolution mods on my legs. They reduce all ability cooldowns each time you pick up an orb of power. We also have a recuperation mod, replenishes health each time you pick up an orb of power. On the class item, we've got a Reaper mod. Shortly after using your class ability, your next weapon final blow spawns an orb of power. Then we also have a Bomber mod, reduces grenade cooldown when using your class ability. And then last but not least, we have a powerful attraction mod, automatically collects nearby orbs of power when you activate your class ability. And that is pretty much it for the build. Highly suggest you guys go try this out. It is a lot of fun. Prismatic has only been out for a short while, so we are just scratching the surface of these Prismatic builds. If you guys are new here and need more Destiny 2 in your life, consider subscribing to the channel, leave a like if you enjoyed the content, follow me over on Twitch if you want to hang out with me live, and check the pinned comment down below and I'll drop a dim link down there if you want to use this setup.